let's start by reading Pen of Shiori and then Pen of Sonlen. So we've got some journal readings from both Shiori and Sonlen here. And so let's go through these first. Okay. So from Pen of Shiori. 9th of Dagmar. Sonlen. You told me to blend in with the crew. Go steal their secrets. Go follow wherever they go. This has led to sneaking aboard an awful boat, and I write this in a cramped space beneath the deck. You would be proud, though. I've done it all with stealth and disguise, and have shed no blood. Yet. The ship is called the Viper's Blood. It is the one emblazoned with decapitated black serpents, their severed heads spurting ruby blood. It escaped Vile Cove after the summit, along with a few others, the Griffin's Fancy, the Voidwing, and the Lark. I count 52 aboard this ship. There are at least that many on board the others, and even more ships in the fleet. We're on our way to rendezvous with the rest. These people are a lot like me, Sonlen. Runaways and rebels. I knew Einar had his deserters, but I never dreamed that there were this many, and from other Valkyrie too. I see faces from Earth, I see faces from Phaland and Alpha Prime, and worlds I don't even know. I wonder if things had gone differently after Zaltika, if this might have been all of us, Drake, Raylan, and the Major, living free. Their offer of a life unfettered by any Valkyrie is tempting, but I have already found my own path. I look like any other deserter, and they haven't noticed one more girl from Earth in the crowd. I wander the ship like a phantom, and I wander the ship like a phantom, and I listen. And these people talk loud. I don't know if they're drinking. Yes, of course. From their chatter, I've gathered that they're almost as clueless as we are when it comes to the wellspring poison. Their orders come from an unseen master in the form of glass bottles. Each one contains orders to carry out and a map to where the next set of orders can be retrieved. There's a Morrow captain aboard who reminds me of a drudge, but it appears he's made some modifications to his body equipment. He also wears trousers, which I find more unsettling than his cutlass. He hisses orders and stalks the deck. And most of the crew here are terrified of him. Not all, though. There's a big cow with a sword as tall as me named Mr. Breach. You're a wee mean one, Mr. Breach. He has a look in his eye that says he might like to be Captain Breach. Breach also caught me while I was pilfering one of those special bottles from the captain's quarters. I'll have to be more careful. There will be far less than 52 crew members aboard if I have to start covering my tracks. I'm sending you the bottle along with the papers inside. I think the glass is enchanted, so don't get your mind stuck in it. We've had enough of that. The instructions are to poison part of a wellspring in Takala. Whoever is pulling the pirate strings, they're hiding their face, and poisoning the Peace Summit was just the start. I dread to think what will come next. We're on our way to collect the next set of orders. I'm going to try and jump ship before that happens. Stay safe. Say hello to Major Q10 for me if you see him. And tell Drake to stop trying to get in touch with me. He's going to blow my cover one of these days. Shiori. Okay, and I'm going to read through these, and then I'll read through them again and comment on them and go through your guys' comments too after I'm done. Cleverest Shiori. This is from the Pen of Sonlen. 12th of Dagmar. So this is what, 9, 10, 11. This is about a few days later. Cleverest Shiori. Your intuition is correct. The glass is enchanted. although I would not expect someone with less than a century of magical practice to understand it's their nuances. The bottles are tied to predetermined destinations set adrift. They will always return to the same beach. A curious method by which to send a message. But then again, you and I find curious methods for our own correspondence too. Uller is not well, and affairs here are rapidly splintering. Although it's now clear the crew of the Viper's Blood and others are accountable for this madness, it may be too late to fully clear Revna's name of the chaos that unfolded at the Peace Summit, particularly when her forces continue to take ground. Major Q10 is off assisting the front lines against her swarms. I would speak with Drake, but leading Jandar's northern army is no small task in these times. I have a feeling his thoughts are even now preoccupied with Raylan. I have had no luck in attempting to undo the effect that the wellspring poison has on Uller. I'll continue to try. In the meantime, his commanders are attempting to assert order. Atlaga insists on only defending Uller's fortress, but I fear Zimara and Melki search for opportunities to strengthen Uller's foothold in this time of crisis. Return home soon, preferably in one piece and undrowned. Sonlen. Okay, let me take a drink. All right. And let me just read the stories based off the Uncharted Isle here too. It might give me some thoughts on these as well. Let's see here. The map 1 Uncharted Isle. The violent seismic activity of Valkyrin dredges up 1,000 jagged islands from the sea floor, and the currents carry toxic vapors from the rivers of Anun. The bitter sea is true to its name. Valhalla's landscapes were barely explored before they were laid waste by war, let alone its waters. In this sea, nameless islands and hidden coves, the pirate fleets take refuge from the watchful eyes of their enemies and wait for the tides to turn in their favor. Okay. And then the other one, a breach of command. Scenario 2, Cornelius Breach pauses for a moment at the top of a nameless jut of rock and grins as he surveys the pirate crews spilling out from their shore boats upon the beaches below. The Peace Summit has been disrupted, the mission completed, and the maps have led here. New orders, new maps are hidden in bottles of glowing glass upon these shores, waiting to be dug up from the sand. It's always the same. The crews will clash like two dogs fighting for the same bone. Excuse me. And then one of the high and mighty captains will snatch the precious information for themselves. Cornelius grits his teeth, clutches the amulet around his neck, and squeezes until the red gem shatters. A brief flash of pain as the shards cut his calloused hand, and then he ceases to feel pain at all. Then he hefts the cleaver in his hand. Today, things go down differently. Today, he takes command. Okay, that's interesting. All right, so at present time. All right, so what do we think about this? Okay, now I will say this one thing. I hope sometime down the line that we get pirate ship terrain. I'm just calling that right now. I want pirate ship terrain, and not just like a top part of a ship. I want decks to explore. I want some really cool terrain modifications to where you can attach a ship to water or to land and have a freaking battle on a pirate ship. I want that. I'd love to see some wood terrain. That would be so cool. Walking the plank, It's like Renegade out there. Come on, you're setting this up already. I mean, you have these ships here. What? Griffin's Fancy, Voidwing, Lark, Viper's Blood, as Roguescaper says. Rest in peace, Elite Onyx. Yep. Come on, I want to see these things. Yeah, pirate ship terrain would be nice, says Red Plus Blue. Yep. Exalis says, so I've been kicking around my thoughts on the scenario requiring a promotional figure in order to run. It's great that they're creating free content. I love that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, and you can always create a proxy for a breach for sure. Ships and spaceships, eventually spaceships. We need to have some type of space thing, sky ships or something. Yeah, we need to have the best of the old and the best of the new science fiction stuff. Eventually, we need that type of stuff. I mean, we need like alien zombies. We have zombies, but what about alien zombies? Spacefaring alien zombies. We kind of have that with NGC. Renegade could do something like that. That would be really fun. That'd be really fun. Again, this is a sandbox. I think it was like Lee was saying to us last weekend. Heroscape is such a fun sandbox because it's like virtually anything. Was it Lee or was it from someone else I was listening to? Anyway, I digress. You can create anything with it here. It's just amazing. Icenic lore makes spaceships plausible. Yes, that's true. Exile. Although their lore, they're just floating by themselves in the middle of space, and then like somehow got picked up. But anyway, okay. So let's go through this again. So so first we're talking about Shiori here. Now she's basically playing spy in this bit of lore, and so. One thing I didn't understand when it came to this quote-unquote peace summit, because I ragged hard on this peace summit the last time I read through lore, because I'm like, why are they getting together? Why would Ukkar be there? Why that? And apparently, because I've like I said, I've talked to some lore people within Renegade, because I happen to know Jeremy, so that's. And Jeremy's like, wait. I mean, some of the stuff, it's wait and see, which is fine. You can't have everything spelled out to you with the lore. But when it came to the Peace Summit, it actually was something, Heroscape, you're listening to this. I was like saying something like they should have come together for a Peace Summit because, maybe because the Valkyrie were poisoned. And so they're trying to figure out what's going on with that. And actually, that was, according to Jeremy, from what I heard him say, that was actually kind of the case. Yes, they actually were coming together because people are being poisoned, wellsprings are being poisoned, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And that just totally went haywire because I guess the ones that are poisoning, they're poisoning the water hole is the pirates doing this. And actually, I think this was lore that was already kind of created through Avalon Hill, if I remember correctly. They were already creating something, or was this Renegade? And this is a long time ago. I'm trying to remember things because it's been years, literally, that stuff like this. But I think I was hearing this type of scenario before. Anyway, so that makes more sense. I still think my critiques still stand. But that the answers to some of those questions had already been answered, and I just forgot. I didn't realize it. My egghead brain. So there's that. Now, apparently, also like years before this summit, there was another summit long before. I think when the Wellsprings were first discovered, where you had Valkyrie generals talking together. And the main ones we had, like Ukkar, Jandar, Ular, and all the rest. The OG Valkyrie generals came together to quote unquote talk, but that didn't go well, and this one didn't go well either. But anyway, so everything was pointing toward Revna, and I still think Revna's a good character. I don't think Revna is exactly an innocent chicken, to be perfectly honest. Revna's got some depth, and I like that. Because you just don't bring things back from the dead, and I mean, if it looks like if it talks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Now, So it'd be interesting fleshing out. I mean, Revna might have good like reasons. It'll be interesting when it comes to fleshing out that character, what they plan to do with Revna. But as for right now, Revna's still fighting everybody, no matter what. They blaming her, but she's kind of acting like she needs to be blamed for something. But it's really interesting that you have this pairing of Sonlen, like these OG characters, Sonlen, Shiori, being suspicious not of Revna, but of these pirates. And this is the real reason why this Peace Summit had trouble. And so I think it's very interesting when it comes to Shiori here. With all these characters, looks like there's a lot of Einar based pirates for these. You just and you have like references to the past, like Zual Tika. I believe that was a reference to some type of past. Actually, I think that's C3V because you have the fire ants, Saltika fire ants. So like I said, you got references in the lore there, and this is the great thing. When it comes to Jeremy, you got dandelions who know, mainstream Heroscape, the Heroscape community, and they know the lore solid. They're going to respect the source material. So that gives me a ton of confidence for them going forward, with things. And just the fact that you basically you get 2 journals for the price of 1. I mean, that's great. Now, I do have one critique with this Shiori thing, though. If she's talking about there's a lot of Einar followers there, I mean, obviously she knows stealth, she knows how to keep hidden, but obviously I think she wouldn't be in her guise of looking like this. My guess is she's staying hidden, or when she's out sneaking about, she's dressed like a pirate. It'd be kind of cool to have like a pirate costume Shiori minifig sometime down the line. That would be kind of cool, wouldn't you think? If she's in disguise, if she's being a spy, pirate spy Shiori, and have that as a card. That would be cool. That would be very, very nice. But I mean, this isn't interesting. So we're just seeing a plot here when it comes to these bottles. I can't help but saying, that line from some pirate movies some time ago. I have a jar of dirt. I'm sorry. These bottles. I mean, just one of them have to just be a jar of dirt, and someone's got to be, saying, "I have a jar of dirt. I have a jar of dirt." You can't guess. We have a dragon. We have a wellspring. I have a jar of dirt. Those memes. Anyway, so yeah, I guess that's what I see. I think what's interesting too is that it looks like we're having like a team up, kind of like an Avengers situation, to where you have all these heroes from different factions. They're not pirates themselves, but they're finding issues going on. There's just like Valkyrie generals being poisoned, a lot of people going out of their minds, and they got to figure out what's happening here. And there's so many characters that they have to start banding together. And Sonlen's kind of being like doing the Captain America thing, to where he's like, I don't know, that how would I say, warriors assemble or something like that. With this, it looks like, at least with him and Shiori, and then he's just mentioning the mentioning of Sonlen, Major Q10. They're trying to keep in contact with each other, so it'd be interesting to see what this team up is going to be. And it's like, this is from the team up of Swarm of the Morrow, basically, and they became friends. They're loyal to each other, even though they're from different generals, and they're trying to keep in touch with each other and be like, look, we can't let this can't let this tear us apart, even though Raylan seems to have left them. So I find that interesting, and then moving to Sonlen, which it's only half a page here, but this kind of like madness that Uller's undergoing is very, very interesting. It's like someone really talk about, you know, wanting to poison the water hole or the wellspring hole, and affecting Valkyrie generals, driving them mad. So this poison isn't exactly killing them; it's more like poisoning their minds. It's a very, very interesting. What would be interesting to see is eventually having some type of scenario or adventure to where maybe you have Sonlen, maybe Shiori, maybe, you know, new heroes coming in. You know, Drake and Q10 can tag along as well, to where they have to find maybe a cure for this poison, to try and reverse what's going on. Or maybe everything just goes to, you know, and people start offing themselves. I don't know how dark we're gonna make this, so we'll see. But yeah, I find this interesting. The plot thickens, as one would say, and there seems to be some mysterious personages leading the pirates, and so we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, if there's a scenario, I think there's scenarios every month now. I believe that's the case. So we'll probably be doing this every month, reading through this. What else is here? Yeah, the glass bottles. I mean, it's an interesting thing. We need a glass bottle glyph now. Or somebody should just make some 3D print some glass bottles. That wouldn't be too difficult. And just like, or you know, 3D print glass bottle and set it on a glyph. Why not? Why not have like, yeah, why not have like 3D type glyphs instead of it just being flat? You actually show the object on the glyph. Why not? So yeah, it's that is interesting. And I love the bit of humor in here too. You know how she says, you know, where is it? And I've shed no blood yet. You know, there's just a slight, I mean, it's drama, but you have a slight bit of comedy still in it. And Sonlen saying, return home soon, preferably in one piece and undrowned. Serious situation, but you know, these are characters who know how to handle themselves in the situation. And then basically these scenarios about going, you know, talking about the pirates and doing the piratey things, arr matey, is very interesting. The introduction of Breach here. I don't know when I'm going to get Cornelius Breach. I know we just had yesterday Heroscape Day, and happy Heroscape Day to everybody. Cheers. Unfortunately, I didn't do anything Heroscape at all yesterday. I had other things I had going on that day, but I hope all of you had a great day and great weekend of scaping, and hopefully some of you got some Cornelius Breaches out there. I don't know how I'm going to get it. I'll probably have to get it when Renegade, you know, has it for sale whenever they do that, because I don't think there's any other way I'm going to get it anytime soon. It's a big fun character. I mean, these pirates, I know once we finally get a bunch of them, they're going to be a fun competitive bunch to use and play on. So when it comes to the lore part in this, I mean, we'll just have to see what happens in the future. But I just, again, conspiracy. You have so many threads of what's happening going on with the Andars, people with Uller, a little tiny bit of Einar. When it comes to just most of them are mentioned in some way in this, and as well as like the individual characters, as well as just some hidden person in the background directing all these pirates. And here's one more critique that I'll give too when it comes to the pirates. And Son of Odin, hey, how you doing, JJ? He says, I got one. His sword is so cool. That's great. Justin, hey Justin, how you doing? It says I took second place in the tournament 2 hours away, winning a Shiori figure, 29 store difficult. Congratulations! Wow, like these guys are getting. Some of us like when they started like didn't even know how to do a tournament. Now they're in tournaments. Drive an hour and a half in another direction next weekend to get my Cornelius Breach figure. Well, Justin, I wish you the best of luck in that. But no, one critique I have with this. So you have some unknown figure that the pirates don't even know who it is. Just throwing these bottles. I mean, the whole plot narrative on that is just, to me, and this is just from my storytelling stuff. I'm not saying it's not good. I'll go with it. It's fine, but it just feels a little weak to me. Just a little weak to me, because it could be really easy to just unravel this altogether. I mean, pirates tend not to be the trusting bunch in the first place, and if they already been shown as don't trust any Valkyrie generals, or they're like, well, why would we trust anybody then? Why are we trusting from an unknown person that's just sending us these bottles just to do these things? What is their motivation? Other than you have some unknown person saying, don't trust the Valkyrie generals. They've been bad to you. I suppose that's enough. Exactly, Red plus Blue. What do the pirates get out of it? What motivates them? And I just don't know if saying, you fighting for the Valkyrie generals for so long, let's find a different way of doing things and start just killing them, which I guess is a piratey way. But a lot of these guys weren't pirates at one point. All of a sudden they transformed to pirates. And they're just living free, which is fine. You're living free, yet you're still kind of shackled to the fact that you're listening to magical bottles. So, I mean, it's fine. I'm not trying to hammer on too much, but if I would have a critique, this is the critique I have. It just seems to me just slightly weak plot thread. Like Red plus Blue, what do the pirates get out of it? If there was some type of treasure, maybe they could be motivated by treasure or something at the end of it. Or maybe possibly they're motivated like, well, you'll get these kingdoms. Once we start getting rid of these kingdoms, then this can be your pirate kingdom or something, where you will rule. That might be a good motivation. We just haven't heard anything yet. And emphasis on yet. We don't know everything about it. I'm sure more will be revealed in the future. I'm just saying where we are presently. So that's kind of the main only critique I'll put for it. So, but overall, I think it's solid. I think I look forward to when they start revealing more of this. And I can't wait for a lore book. We talked last Sunday about lore book. We need to be in a huge lore book with just a bunch of things leather bound and just like all of this near on it. And I would certainly do novels. Like novelizations would be so fun if we could get good writers, doing some novelizations. If you want to be as good as Warhammer 40K, you need some novelizations and make them get some really good writers like say Timothy Zahn or something like that. Some really good fantasy writers out there writing that stuff down. But at the present time, I think we're good with this. Next, Sonlen and Shiori's writing in their journals.